Honestly, today is a bit of a hot mess express day. I don't even know what is going on here, and my face is looking super shiny because I've been working on this Maybelline glass spray and I hate it. It makes your face like oily. I mean, that's probably the point, right? But nah. Hydrated look, dewy finish. Dewy finish. I look like I rubbed my face in a deep fryer. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the third update for my eyes project pan. Just a reminder, this project was created by Deb B, who'll have a link down below, as well as everyone else who has joined in. Eyes stands for Enjoy Your Eyeshadows, and Deb is okay with us enjoying them however we wish, as long as we give her our peaks and our pits. As you might remember, I've been doing my project No Pan Left Behind, where I've been working on about 4 palettes at a time. And this update, like last update, I did have a mid-round roll-in. So I've got a pile of palettes over here that we will discuss, starting with the ones that I brought in last update. So first up, we have the Revolution Celestial Dreams palette. This is what it looks like here, and I'll pull it up big on the screen so that we can go through the uses, that one. So I used Warmth once, Passion once, Supermoon 5 times. As you can see, I now have Pan. Make sure you check out my Beauty A to Z project for more details on that. Energy once, Wisdom twice, Balance once, Cancer once, Happiness once, and Intuition also once. Last update, I did a peak and a pit for each palette, but I have quite a number of palettes and it's really hard picking a peak and a pit for each one. So I think overall, I might just do my peak and my pit for the combined palettes. So let's roll on to the next one. Next up, we have the Beauty Bay Technodays palette. This is what this one looks like. And once again, I'll pull it up on the screen so we can go through with detail the uses. For Kaleidoscope, I use that once. Dazed once. Rave once. I'll be honest, I don't know how to say that, but the yellow shade once. Acid 4 times. Spectrum once. 1991 once, and Sunrise once. I'll say actually, without meaning to, I've been kind of doing like a project level up with half these palettes because I pull them in to this project. I use them once on all shadows except for whatever's in my Beauty A to Z and like the acid here, and I use that until I hit pan. So yeah, accidental level 1 of project level up. But this palette has rolled out. Then we have the Beauty Bay New Moods palette. This is this one here. And once again, I'll pull it up on the screen so we can go through with more detail. So Gracious, I used twice. Curious once. Grateful twice. Intimate twice. Tender once. Powerful twice. Optimistic once. Euphoric once. Passionate once. Free once. Focused once. Inspired 7 times. Bold once. Energetic once. Creative once. Serene once. Content once. Confident once. Blessed once, and joyful also once. I definitely overall enjoyed this palette. In fact, it might actually be one of my peaks, if not my peak palette. But let's jump into the next palette I've been using. Then we have the BH Cosmetics Trendy in Tokyo palette. I'm not sure what's going on with my lights. I feel like they look weird. Is that better? That might be better. The Trendy in Tokyo palette, that's what this one looks like here. It is definitely a bright rainbow palette, and we'll zoom in to go through my full uses. This palette was a little bit more no pan left behind. So I used Cherry Blossom twice, but I used every other shade in this palette once. I'd have to say, I know we're not doing a peak and a pit for each palette, but that rainbow bridge shade just here would definitely be my peak from this palette. So this one is also rolling out. And then because we had gotten through all 4 of those palettes, I did have a mid-update roll-in. So I rolled in an additional 4 palettes. So let's go through where I got to with these ones. The first one we have here is the Sephora Caffeine Please palette. This is what it looks like. And I used each one of these shadows once. Then we have the Revolution, the Emily Edit the Needs palette. You'll recognize this palette from my Girl Fix Your Face project. I'll have that linked up above. And as you might remember, this palette is broken. But I was only working on these 6 shades here. And I've used each of these once, except for Love, which I've used twice. Then we also have the Revolution, the Emily Edit the Wants palette. I definitely would say between the 2 palettes, the Wants palette is my preferred palette. I definitely prefer this one over the Needs palette. But let's go through my usages on this one. I've used the cream twice. I haven't used Hobbit or Prayer. Grateful once. Good Vibes once. Side Hustle once. I haven't used Midwest or Dues Paid. Eve Rose 3 times. Belle Violet once. Capricorn once. I haven't used Pi-Fi. Is that how you say it? I'm not really a cheer club's university thing. Oh Heavens, I've used 4 times. I haven't used Love Tons. I've used Pizzazz twice. I haven't used Family. I've used Top Story once. I haven't used Apartment. I've used Cupcake once. Laugh Cry once. I've used Cheer 6 times because, as you know, that one is in my Buffy project pan, which I'll have linked up in the cards. Heartbeat once. Corduroy twice. And I haven't used Dark and Early. So we definitely still have a ways to go with this palette, so it will be staying in this project. And last but not least of my mid-update roll-ins, we have the I Heart Revolution Black Cherry palette. And this is what this one looks like here. So going through the uses, I haven't used Cake or Compote. I've used Frosty once. I haven't used Cheesecake or Cherry Soda, but I've used Liqueur once. I've used Gature once. I've used Twizzle twice. I haven't used Pie, Snow in Love, Tipsy, or Succulent. I also haven't used Brandy. I've used Picked once, Punnet twice. I've used Waft once, but I haven't used Alpine or Hot Chocolate. So this palette will also be staying in to get those last uses. So going into update 3, I do have these 2 palettes staying in the project, but I have made the decision to roll in 4 more palettes. So let's go through the new palettes rolling in. First up, we have the Maybelline Blushed Nudes palette. This is what this one looks like here. I don't really have much else to say about it, but this is it. Then we have the W7 Whatever Totally Random palette. This is this one here. Spoiler alert, that little pan over there I just hit today in my Beauty A to Z project. But this one's also rolling in. Then we have the I Heart Revolution Iced Latte palette. This is this one here. It's definitely a cool toned palette. And last but not least, we have the I Heart Revolution Frozen Raspberry palette, which is this one just here. These palettes from I Heart Revolution do have a scent to them, which I quite enjoy. So those are the 4 palettes that I'm rolling in, but jumping back to go through my peak and my pit from the last round of palettes, I'm going to start with my bad news story. So that is my pit, and that is the Emily Edit The Needs palette. So for anyone who has been around watching my channel for a while, you know how I feel about this palette. I think that I know this is not technically part of this project, but I do enjoy the face powders in the palette. But when it comes to the eyeshadows, I don't really see these as being needs. Okay, yes, I get having a light shade, a mid-tone brown, a dark brown. But then this weird black shimmer just does not make sense. It's weirdly black and pink. It is a pretty shade in itself, but considering this is meant to be like a one and done type palette, it doesn't really make sense. And there is no shimmer shades really in here except for Passion, which is this black pink. Then you do have a full-on pink, which a reddy pink, and this weirdly orange mid-tone light color. I think that these bottom 3 shades make sense, but I think these top 3 could have been better choices. So this one is my pit. Then with my peak, I would have to say it is the Beauty Bay New Moods palette. This is what it looks like. I am a massive fan of these 2 green shadows here, Energetic and Creative. I also just really like the formula and the payoff that you get from the Beauty Bay shimmer shadows. So let me give you a couple. So these are them just there. Like those are them there. I really love this palette and really enjoyed using it. So this one is my peak for this round. So that is all we have for you today. I am hoping, I have an unofficial goal, I guess, to get through the 26 palettes that I had rolled in to my Beauty A to Z project. So far, I have been trying to mostly focus on those, except for the Revolution Emily Edits. Those 2 palettes are not in my Beauty A to Z, but I would really like to finish the year having hit my goal, my No Pan Left Behind goal on all 26 of those palettes. But like I said, that's all I've got for you today. I'd love to hear down in the comments what your favorite palette was from this video. If you own any of the similar palettes that I do, what your thoughts are about them, and if there is any eye looks that you would love to see me do. As always though, we are now going to jump into my lookbook. Yes, I almost forgot. So let's jump into that now. clear, that is not all the looks that I've done since my last update, because on occasion I tend to forget to take photos. And the shadows used in that are not just the shadows from my eyes project, but they also include my Beauty A to Z and any other project that I have eyeshadows in. So with that all done and dusted, I think we have officially completed update 3. So I'm Verity. This was update 3 for the eyes project pan. And now to the outro.